Good morning.
Morning, Jessica. Good to see you.
I I just emailed you because I saw there was a tornado warning in Orlando, according
Maybe,
to my
but
weather app.
at this hour, that's going to be well north of us, up in the villages area,
Oh, okay, good.
which is good 45-minute drive from here.
Good, good.
Apologies for looking ill. I'm having a terrible allergy attack today.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah,
This-
well, cats.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I have to step away real quick for just a second. I'll be right back.
glad to cover for you. Morning, Ryan.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
Nasty allergy attack. So you'll see me flapping handkerchiefs at you quite a bit. But
It is that time
unfortunately,
of
it's not
year, isn't it?
communicable over Zoom.
I imagine the flora down there in Florida is a little different than it is here in California.
Yes, um, but it's a good deal better than the flora that I lived in when I lived in Tennessee, which
Oh,
area was called the pollen capital of the nation because of the
mm.
variety available.
Yep. My parents live in Western North Carolina, about an
Yeah,
hour from the Tennessee border. So,
everything blooms there.
hmm
We have year-round pollen and allergies and cooties in Sacramento as well.
Yeah, but you don't have the variety there. And in this drought, you probably haven't got much blooming this year.
Surprisingly, we're pretty lush. We haven't personally had the issues with the drought that we've had in previous years. Um, the rain that we had a couple years ago, and just generally the rain that we've had this winter, we've kind of been getting our water table back up to normal. We'll see how long it lasts.
Uh,
Good morning.
Morning, Jessica. This is Louise from the Southern California Genealogical Society. Good morning.
Good morning. It is a pleasure to put a face with the name.
And mine too. Yes, thank you.
we've spent many a nice day, nice hour in that in your facilities.
You did.
Yeah, we. I grew up in Torrance, so that was awfully convenient. My wife's a
Louise,
genealogist, though.
Aha. Well, as
I'm I'm a mere heraldist.
I mentioned to Jessica over email, that we are downsizing our book collection and we're looking for a new space that's smaller and has less rent.
Yeah,
So
that's always the case.
we have a whole section on heraldry and British nobility and that sort of thing. I imagine that you probably have most of those books, but if you don't,
Well, probably not a good idea to ship it to Florida now.
no.
we'll I think we'll be able to follow up if you've got a list or depending on the volume. I'm sure we can coordinate some kind of transport either the next time I'm down in Southern California or one of our members down there who might be coming up for a visit. I'm
Mhm.
sure we can I'm sure we can prevail on people to give a few books a ride. And you mentioned you have periodicals as well.
Yes, we
Yeah.
do, but we have no accurate list of them. So our collection is mostly the United States, we have a very large collection of French Canadian materials. Um, and we do have some materials from other countries, but it's uh, mostly to do with immigrants from those countries to America.
Yeah, those genealogical data from other countries is pretty hard to come by outside of the LDS.
Mm-hmm.
We were expecting approximately 25 to join us, and we're at 15. So I imagine if we wait another couple of minutes to give everyone a chance to gather, that should work. Good morning, everyone. It's so exciting to see everybody here for this big news that we have to share. And let's see, we've got members and friends of the society, and we've got a couple of, we've got our board president, Vance Whippo, is here. Nichelle Burdick is our project manager for the move, actually, and she's the one who helped find this location that we're so excited about. Yeah, let's give it a couple minutes and then we'll get started. So, mm. And I see Diana Knight is saying, hi, everyone, I'm in Stockton. I'm an archaeological illustrator trained in medieval if anyone ever needs it. You know, I am sure we will. That is right up our alley. And Thomas Davis, good morning from Texas. Michaela S., good morning from California. Ronald Dara, greetings from Indiana. And I'm in Sacramento, of course. So, Diana, I'm pretty close to you. And we have a number of other members in Texas as well. And we've got some California members in both Northern and Southern California. And Bruce, of course, is in Florida. He is manning our Florida headquarters. So, well, we got a little pause in new people joining the meeting, so we can get started. And I am recording this, so we will put that up on our YouTube channel afterward. So anyone else that you want to share this with can review it. And so we thought today that we would talk about who we are, what we do, what we want to do in Sacramento, and give you a few opportunities to get involved, ideas about what we can do with our new space. And I put together a little visual to share with you. So let me grab that and I can show you what we've got. All right, and we want to go to full screen. Like those up. All right. Can everybody see this okay? Let me make sure I've got it.
We could, but then it dropped out again.
Sorry, it's funny. I have to, when I bounce back to make sure nobody's in the waiting room, then you lose the picture. So hopefully I won't miss anybody. So the Augustan Society, who are we? Why are we here? We were founded in 1957. My father was a high school student, and he was fascinated by some of these subjects: heraldry, genealogy, chivalry, ancient medieval history, and royal and noble studies. And his gateway was stamp collecting. And he always said that you could tell all you needed to know about a country by what it put on its stamps. And I think that is a really interesting cultural reflection. Stamp collecting doesn't necessarily seem to have the um, popularity that it once did, but hopefully it'll come back. And it was his opportunity to kind of get connected to something larger than himself. And what that turned into for him initially was some publishing, and then gradually a library grew up around the whole effort that he was making, just like it does probably for all of us who are interested in academic things and in history, that we collect books and attract them to us wherever we go. So our mission is actually to promote the study and traditions of these subjects. And we do that by providing resources, including a library, publications, and services for members and the public. And the underlying principle that we follow is to further chivalric values in society. And that's a little bit of a unique definition for each person. But essentially, we want to leave the world a better place than we found it. So here's my father. 1950, at age 12, he was dressed like Abraham Lincoln. They shared a birthday. When he was very young, he thought that everyone got the day off of school because of him, which, fair. And then this middle picture is in front of 18002 Fay Smith Avenue, which was the house that he grew up in and where he founded the Augustan Society upstairs in his high school bedroom.
You've lost the images again.
Oh, no. Okay. Let's see what's happening here. Oh, I see. I had an interruption from Zoom. All right, let's try again. Thank you for letting me know. Can everybody see this?
Not yet.
Not yet? All right. Well, could be my internet connection. Let's see what we've got happening here. Sorry for the technical difficulties. So, at any rate, to continue, the 60s, the early and mid 60s were a pretty active time for him getting things started. And by the end of the 60s, he was publishing a couple of different newsletters and magazines, and eventually grew upward of 17 or 19 different titles. And that was when Bruce and Marta kind of joined the crew.
1974.
Mm-hmm. I was born in 1972, and I was christened an Augustan probably before I was christened anything else. How's this? Let me try again here and see. Here we go. How's that? Are we good?
Yep.
Oh, fantastic. Sorry about that. All right. Let me go back. Whoops. Let me try to go back. And you'd think I'd know how to do this. Let's see. Previous page. And previous page. All right. So our mission statement, our vision statement, we'll make this available online afterwards too for you to refer to if you'd like. So here's Dad at age 12, dressed like Abraham Lincoln. And then a few years later, after college, in front of the house where he grew up in Torrance and where the society was originally based. And then here he is as he was beginning to get involved in chivalric endeavors in Southern California. He was knighted by King Peter II of Yugoslavia in exile. and so was known as Sir Rodney for his lifetime. In
The
19 Go ahead.
the photo of him on the previous slide, marked 1968, was taken during one of the Augustan Society's annual meetings. You'll notice he's wearing the collar of the Order of the Augustan Eagle.
Let me go back to that. Yes, and the Augustan Eagle is a kind of an honor court and an advisory council within the Augustan Society. So longtime members, we can kind of weigh in on their wisdom and their experience within that subgroup, I should say. Mom and Dad got married in 1969, and she really helped the society gel. She had the writing and editing sort of background that Dad really needed in order to make the publications very successful. And so together as a team, they really created the architecture underneath the society that sustained it for many years. She unfortunately passed away in 1994. And after that, things slowed down quite a bit. Dad's health took a turn for the worse, not long after that time either. So things got a little quieter. But here we are in 1972, before they put me to work, but after I became an Augustan. And then here's a photo of my father a couple of years before he passed away in the building we affectionately called the Christmas Cottage at our Southern California headquarters where he lived. Publications started with the Augustan Society Information Bulletin, and we include a vintage copy of that in your membership kit when you join. But I'm happy to share a copy of that with anyone else who'd be interested. And the Augustan Omnibus is our primary publication today. We're just now transitioning from one format to another, and a little bit behind, I would say a lot behind on the publication schedule. So we're going to be looking for some additional help to get that out. This time, one of the significant changes will be making it available as both a print and a digital magazine for subscription. And our membership publication is the Augustium, which goes out lately by email. And these are a sampling of some of the other publications that my parents worked on. And all of these were subscription-based. Reprints of these and articles within them are available on our online bookstore. There's quite a large amount of scholarship here that's still quite relevant and helpful. And so I'd encourage you to take a look at the bookstore. If there's anything that you're specifically researching, there might be something to help you. And then we had publications as well in the chivalry, heraldry, royalty, ancient history field. And then for many years, the Augustan was our membership publication. The earliest iteration of the omnibus was the Augustan Society Omnibus, and it was meant to be an umbrella publication that pulled together all of our subjects. And so that's why we've stuck with it today. It's a little unwieldy to do, 17 different publications. Yeah. And this was Villa Augusti, the last headquarters we had in California. And it was in the Mojave Desert in this huge mansion that was built in like 1911, I think. And so here you can see the main, one of the main rooms with fabric was draped over the furniture, but it was Christmas. I think it was probably 2006. And then a small glimpse of the Egyptian room, which was arranged to look like a glimpse into Howard Carter's study. It was a very imaginative place and very immersive. And so while we had prior headquarters in Southern California, I think this was sort of the apex of like the immersive experience. And it was very charming to be in this lovely home. But there's always issues in the desert, like air conditioning, and having it be a little remote and hard to get to for people. And so it was never quite the fit for the community that we wanted it to be, but it was a very nice home for our collection. And then this is kind of what Bruce has struggled with over the years because, all of this went to him and to his wife, Marta, after my father died. And we're talking, dozens and dozens of, well, several dozen filing cabinets. We're talking, many linear feet of shelving. We're talking hundreds of boxes of books. And so there was only so much he was able to do in the space that he had available. And, at some point after 17 years, we would like to let him retire from being a diligent volunteer. And so we've made the decision to bring the whole kit and caboodle back to California. And as long as we were at it, we figured, let's open the library back up. And so we have found offices at this location. And if you're local to Sacramento, you might recognize the area. It's between Cal Expo, which is the state fairgrounds, and Arden Mall, which is the big mall in the area. But we liked it because it's adjacent to freeways. There's good amenities around it, quiet. The building has a lovely atrium with an established garden. And so we have secured a 2,900 square foot space. And if I'm honest, we're a little worried that might not be enough space, but we won't know till we get in it. This is our timeline. We're just getting keys on Monday. I'd hoped to have them in hand today, but we'll have them Monday and we'll do some close measuring, and then Nichelle and I will be getting with Bruce to talk a little bit more in detail about packing and how to prepare the space for the materials. Then at the end of June is tentatively when we are planning to put everything on moving trucks. And once everything arrives here, one of our big projects is going to be cataloging our 30,000 book library, plus archives and other materials. There was a handwritten catalog back in the day, but Bruce has made quite a bit of headway starting on a digital catalog. But to really understand what we have and make it available to the community, that's going to be a front and center project for us once we get boxes open here. And so what that means is that there will be like volunteer opportunities and member activities starting pretty much from the beginning. With the headquarters, even though we might not be in a state where we're fully unpacked or ready for like an official grand opening, it's going to be so much more of a collaborative process, I think, all along, that we want to include the community while we're crafting this so that it is reflective of what the community needs. So we're expecting to set the space up to accommodate for archiving, for preservation and repair of some of our books, to be able to host programming like classes and lectures, book signings, book groups. And we also do all want to make the space available as a community hub. And so we'll be putting together a schedule to make like our conference room available to other local history groups who might need a place to meet once a month. We want to make the most of this space. And anyway, I've been talking a lot. I don't want to take up all the air in the room, but I wanted to pause for just a second to check in and see if there's anything Bruce wants to add or any questions anybody has before I go on. Okay, silence is golden. So
I can talk more about the collection if you'd like.
Oh, you know what? Hold that thought for 2 minutes, and then that'll be perfect. So these are some of the things that we'll be doing in this space. And in the past, all of this has been happening kind of remotely and in a decentralized way. And, I've stepped in as Bruce has stepped back into his retirement. And what I've found is, one person obviously can only do so much, but with a decentralized organization, it's really hard to stay connected and maintain all the relationships you need to maintain. And it made me realize that a physical headquarters centered around this library, which was our original shape that we took as an organization, still works. And I think will be very satisfying for everyone who's involved. So let's see what else I have to share with you. So some of the services we provide include helping you design your own coat of arms or verifying maybe historical arms that have been in your family and helping you get those registered so that you can use a personal coat of arms that's associated with your own name. And so that's a process that will continue to be supported at the headquarters. We'll fulfill orders for our online bookstore, and then we'll have space to work on production for our omnibus publication and any other printing we do. And then this is the space. And so I have a listing in the next few slides of some of the specifics of the collection, but I think it'd be better if Bruce shared with us what his thoughts are and his experience is of our
collection. The books have all been packed up, and so they're in about 700 or 800 boxes. Moving boxes about 1.5 foot, 1.5 cubic feet a piece. You saw a few of them on one of the photos she showed. The amount of space they take up, stacked 6 foot high, is substantial and may make the plan that's on the screen right now somewhat unrealistic. It's certainly a great goal, but we've got an awful lot of stuff. 18 file cabinets, some of it which are business records or back issues for sale, but 3 or 4 of them are full of archives of various orders of chivalry. Sir Rodney was the head of the Order of St. Lazarus in the U.S. for a time, which is why we've got the International Lazarite magazine on our collection. The shelving we have now would pretty much fill up that main area there without the study tables. And the books that have been cataloged, which is about 1/4 of the collection, would fill those and then some. So assuming we can rescue the present catalog, which we're having some trouble with, we'll be able to just take them out of the box and shelve them and get a running start. But there's another probably 400 to 500 boxes that have never even been opened since 2007. And cataloging is not a simple or a fast process. I could, with recent books, I could get up to maybe 6 an hour. The obscure stuff, much more time. So cataloging is going to be an ongoing project for years to come. And but it'll be greatly helped by having a place to put it.
Very much.
Yeah, the production space needed for the magazine will be fairly trivial since we're not printing them ourselves anymore. So that will help. That's we send out the PDF files and we get back and have them drop shipped to our subscribers. That's going to simplify things a lot. There is also the museum collection, which we've been trying to cut down, but it has a fairly substantial stamp collection. It's going back to Rodney's boyhood collection. And there's also a photograph collection, mostly old-fashioned print photographs that need to be identified before we all forget who these people are. Most of the artifacts in that are things coming from museum stores, so there's not a lot of precious artifacts except precious to our own memories. So that will simplify things. The archival needs are probably not compatible with this building. One of the first things you do when you're doing archives is you rip out the carpeting, you replace the normal acoustic ceiling tiles with something that doesn't shed dust, and you paper over all the windows. This is not going to be something we'll want to do. We may be able to do that in the room marked special collections there because it's got no windows and can be closed off, but gearing up for archives, much less for book repair, is a non-trivial task. Maybe one we'll have to defer.
We're kind of thinking of this location as our starter home.
Yeah.
In a sense, we have a 3-year lease, and so we're setting some guidelines on what we hope to accomplish in 2 years. And so at that 2-year mark, we'll assess where we're at and decide, is this going to continue to work for a while, or, do we need to
At that point, we should have a much better idea of the amount of floor space it's going to take to house the whole library, which I think is going to be our big problem, unless we decide to go through and purge things. And well, we've got a dozen boxes of unrelated books and duplicates that we can pass on. There's not a lot of that, but there are some titles that we may decide to discard. We may get rid of our anthropology and archaeology collection. So that's kind of peripheral. There's a few other things. Our map collection is very difficult to use. And basically, we want to reproduce a map in a magazine. We have to take it out to a shop that can shoot a 4x5 foot sheet of paper and reduce it to a digital format we can actually put to use. So there are some challenges. But this is so much better than being in a dark storage unit that it's hardly worth discussing. I'm excited about the opportunity here.
I am too. And we're hoping that we can rethink and be creative about how to appreciate and use what we have. We're talking about a small annex storage unit for some of the museum items, and then rather than having all museum items on display at all times, rotate them through over the course of the year. And that might be a project that a group of volunteers might want to take on, so that we have an opportunity to properly appreciate the items that we have, rather than just have a lot of things that need dusting, which at the end of the day doesn't really do everybody any good. And then, if we need to annex some of the collection into a small storage unit while we process, we can do that as well. It's likely that our bookstore stock will end up in a storage location for the most part if we need more of this space. But we'll know more as we go. And let's see what else I've got to share with you here. Yes, so here by the numbers. Bruce, if you're saying 700 to 800 boxes of books, then this number is out of date.
That number is a little old. It didn't include the stuff that was on open shelves took up more boxes than I thought. We've also got a lot of business records that will easily bump that up another 100. I think there are a few fewer filing cabinets, but not by much.
Yes,
and I'm at this point thinking that 30,000 volumes may be a bit of a low estimate.
It's going to be uh, Christmas by opening all of these books, but also
It's going
I'm
to be
slightly
Christmas for the next couple of decades.
right. I'm slightly worried about the volume, but I think it'll be fun. And to give you a quick glimpse into existing key collections that we do have a pretty wide range of things that touch on a range of history. We don't have much in the way of
Yeah.
more contemporary history.
Actually,
On
we haven't gotten Cleve's collection yet.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll make
Hopefully,
space and
hopefully we can follow up on that.
yes, definitely. We also have a notable Native American collection of books primarily focused on California indigenous communities. And so since we've got we've got the State Indian Museum here in Sacramento, and then we've also got Chaucer State Park not too far from here either. We're hopeful that we'll be able to engage, supportively with the community here and put that collection to use. We've got an extensive royal and noble biography collection, extensive heraldry collection. The genealogy collection is also quite wide ranging, and notably we have single name books and collections that cover over 30,000 families. And one of our guests here today was just offering us some of the books from her collection. The Southern California Genealogical Society is going to be downsizing. So we may be welcoming some contributions to some of these collections from them later this year. And the chivalry collection is also wide-ranging, books from across time. And then we have a significant number of archives on a variety of groups that my father was involved with, as well as those that were the subject of research and information gathering. And then to touch again on the museum collection briefly, some of it is pretty large. We've got a full-size statue of Augustus. We have a 7-foot tall hand-painted Egyptian wall panel that we actually cut out of the wall of the former headquarters. Dad had a tendency to paint things if they stayed still around him for too long. So our home had Egyptian paintings on it. Our garage had Egyptian paintings on it. And so did that particular headquarters. So it was very fun. And so what we really want to try to do is keep this collection, keep our services and our focus relevant in today's modern age. It's more important than ever that we preserve history and the historical record, and that we keep supporting the advancement of historiography so that we're interrogating our own methods of understanding history so we can keep learning and contributing. And so in this new headquarters, we're really going to be able to spread our wings. There will be, and it's certainly not something we can do without community. All of this really comes down to hands on deck and many hands making light work. And the best part of it is that you can go down all of the rabbit holes that fascinate you and make a difference that way. And so we have a ton of volunteer opportunities, and we have volunteer opportunities that are also remote. So if you aren't in the local area, there are plenty of ways to be involved. And you can also do some hybrid work. If you're in the area and you want to do some things from home, we have ways to do that. And then, of course, we've got plenty of opportunities locally. We'll be also setting up some internships for library science students and possibly other students as well, depending on the programs. And then there's always leadership roles too within the society. If you're a member, we are just at the moment asking people to volunteer to run for election to the board or to nominate a fellow member to the board. And so that's one opportunity. We have several key committees that handle our services and our areas of study. And so we can use some help there. And after this meeting, I'll send out a follow-up email, and there'll be some links there to more detailed information on all of that. And then, of course, memberships are also available, which is another good way to be involved. We have a student membership, which is really nice advantage for anybody who's a full-time student, because it's half of the fee of a regular membership. And it's also good for anyone under the age of 18. And considering that this whole enterprise was conceived of and created by somebody who started it before they were 18, we'd like to continue the legacy of that. We'll be offering an additional program too that I'll share information on at a later time. We're thinking of calling it Cornerstone memberships, and it'll be primarily for local folks who want to do a little more to support the library. And so the fee will be larger than the typical regular membership fee, but it will also include some benefits that are based in the library, like being able to have access to the conference room for a certain number of your own meetings over the course of the year, and behind the scenes tours and other ways to be involved in a hands-on way and support the library. So my question now is, what are you curious about? What is interesting to you about this? And what drew you to this meeting today? And do you see yourself getting involved in anything that we've talked about? Let's see. All right, I'm going to stop my share and let's see what's in the chat. Cataloging all of these projects is indeed going to be a gigantic project. One really great resource we have is that we did receive a grant some time ago, which has started to be utilized towards the cataloging that Bruce has done, but there's still quite a bit of that available. And so we're just now starting to think about how we're going to support that here. And then to answer Ronald's question, we do have a core group of several volunteers / my family members / my local friends and contacts who are getting drawn into this project. But we are opening it up to others, and hope that we'll be able to develop a pretty good sized team of volunteers. And Louise is mentioning that at the Southern California Genealogical Society, we were talking about this too. She was saying that they've found what's been digitized online and then withdrawing those physical copies from the library since it's not fully necessary.
I would caution that we need to download and preserve those digitized books because they have a tendency to vanish from the cloud.
That's a good point.
Memory is very cheap today, but at least knowing that there's more than one source for the books would be a big advantage.
Louise, you were going to say?
Bruce, the digitized copies that we have found are in Internet Archive or HathiTrust or Family Search. And before we withdraw the physical copy, we're checking that link to make sure they're still available, because over the years, copyright issues have surfaced, and anything that we cannot see fully online, we are keeping.
You have to be cautious. But the reverse is also true. For our collection, we have quite a few rare and antiquarian books that are likely not available very many places. So we are hopeful that we'll be able to digitize those and make them more widely available. So that'll be hopefully a side quest from the primary cataloging project. And let's see, Diana says, it doesn't have to be Christmas for decades, although we do enjoy opening a good box of books, I have to say. And we definitely will be looking for graduate students to get involved at a higher level of expertise in helping us to catalog. And oh, Woodlake part of Sacramento, you're not far from us at all. And you're an archivist at the state archives. Oh, terrific. Yes.
We found our new librarian.
I know. We've got several people who've reached out recently, who, yes, like Diana is saying here too, she's got a doctorate in archaeology. There's a whole community of us here, but I don't think we really had something like this to pull us together into a single community before. And so, and being the state capital in Sacramento, having state archives here, and a really strong public library system and several other private libraries here, we're hopeful this will be a comfortable and productive home for us. So, University of Nottingham. That's terrific. Terrific. So, other comments, thoughts, questions? Oh, I see Victor's joining us. Victor is one of our longtime volunteers and is involved with the genealogy committee. Oh, that's terrific, Diana. She is the person behind the Viking coloring book. That actually touches on something that another member brought up to me the other day, is what kind of programming we can offer in the new space. And that member is Samantha Cook, and she's the author of a book called History Compass, which is about teaching kids how to study history and how to write about history and understand it. And so we were talking about the possibility of events for students, field trips, putting together curriculum that can be shared online as a public service. And then the Waldorf school system has a unit on chivalry in the 6th grade. And we've got a pretty strong Waldorf community here, but it would be nice to put a curriculum together that we could share online as well. So yeah, there's more work than we could ever possibly accomplish, is what it comes down to. And so we'll have to find that fine line between the things we're excited about and that we want to charge forward on, against the things that we know we need to do to make sure that our foundation's solid for the long term. And so, but the more volunteers and the more members we have, that expands how much we can do in terms of programming. So.
Right. So part of what I've done locally is I've also created the historic Stockton coloring book, and I created curriculum for 2nd grade through postgraduate for that, and actually ran a full series of events and everything for it. So I've been doing that in Central Valley, can give you thoughts and tips on how to work that effectively. So yeah, we should get in contact, because there's several things that professionally I'm able to help with. But as I mentioned, I'm a substitute teacher, so these are things I can't volunteer for at this stage of my life. I have a mortgage and a doctorate to pay off, so but there's a lot of things that I can help you with.
Well, volunteering your expertise is just as critical as volunteering time, or treasure, which we also appreciate. But the expertise is really what helps push us forward. So I will follow up with you. I've got your email from the registration for the meeting. I got quite a to-do list coming out of this meeting. So, and oh, good. And Sebastian is sharing a great link for looking for interns. We weren't quite expecting this to happen so suddenly. Nichelle started looking back in February for a headquarters, thinking, oh, June or July we'll do a move. And we thought we would be looking for a headquarters right up until like the last minute, and then maybe it would need construction in it. And it turns out that we found this building right away, and it was fairly turnkey. Although certainly not a perfect archival situation, definitely a great starting point for what we want to do. And so, so we thought, well, we could spend 6 months with me trying to get everything together to talk about this, or we could just invite our community to help us figure it out. And so, getting this feedback as we're crafting the plan is really, really helpful. So, Sebastian, we'll be following up with you too about, especially since you're right here in town. So.
And if nothing else, you might like to sit down with me and discuss the classification system we designed for the collection based on Rodney's initial work. It's peculiar as is normal for a special library, but I think you may find it useful.
We'll have to decide which peculiarities we want to hold on to as well, and which ones need to evolve. And that's always been part of our philosophy too, is that evolution is a natural part of a community organization. And so,
oh, believe me, this has evolved tremendously since Rodney's last had a finger in it. I found nothing like having to catalog things to make you realize that your categories are inadequate.
Yeah, when you go to actually do the thing.
And to shelf things, we find that for more detail is needed so that we don't have 120 feet of books on a single category.
Oh, the archives crawl that Sebastian Nelson is mentioning is a fantastic event. Yes. Hopefully we'll be a stop on that the next time it comes around. Well, when we're ready. I don't know if we'll be ready the next time it comes around, but certainly the time after that. So. Oh, fantastic. Dawn Dance is mentioning that some of her members of the Daughters of the American Revolution chapter may be interested and that they meet nearby our new location. And Michaela is graduating at the end of the month at Sierra College, which is not far, history major, wanting to pursue her MLIS. That's fantastic. We'll definitely follow up with you as well. And then Louise is wondering what we're using. We're using Koha, correct? She's asking, she's using Mandarin for her cataloging system.
Yeah. The nice thing about Koha is it's free, so it's within our budget. And it does everything one would wish a library system would do, including circulation. Plus, if you use that, you get 600 books up on the cataloging.
Yes. And
we 606,000.
I was just, that stopped me up. I was like, wait a second, what did I just hear? Yes. So we've got 6,000 cataloged. Yeah, Koha is solid. So we're looking forward to getting that cataloging set back up. The goal will be to have that in place by July so that we can hit the ground running as we're unpacking books.
And tell our technical committee that I'm willing and able to offer some assistance with that based on having built the system.
We appreciate that, Bruce. I do feel like you will never retire,
Kind of looks that way.
which kind of worries me because, 17 years, 18 years, I think now, just about of volunteering
I prefer to think of
is
it as 52.
that's true. That's true.
And what I've been doing to keep myself sane is reducing my annual time commitment a little bit each year, and as I develop other activities. So it's not driving me mad anymore.
I'm
Uh,
glad. I'm glad.
Getting rid of the magazine was a big part of that.
You had a lot of responsibilities, and it's, I mean, there's only so much one person should be doing, and at the end
Yes.
of the day, we should be having fun with this.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I'm
it's
looking forward to getting back into heraldry and working on the rolls of arms and the online armorial and things like that, uh, which have been pushed aside while I pack.
well, the packing is a multi-month project, and we are after we get the keys on Monday, Nichelle and I will do some measuring to verify the space that we've got, and then we'll follow up with you to um, make sure that we're all on the same page in terms of what gets packed first and how we're organizing it. So, and then we'll be able to start furnishing the headquarters with the things that we do know that will need to be acquired here.
Yeah,
Um,
and I have a mental list of furniture available.
all right. Well, we'll talk and
We didn't
figure
junk at
that.
all.
No, no. I've seen some familiar old pieces in the photos you've sent us from
Yes.
storage. So let's see, how are we doing on time? We've got about 7 minutes left on our meeting. Have we got any other thoughts, comments? Well, then I just want to say a really heartfelt thank you to Bruce and to the other members and volunteers here, Vance Whippo, Victor Carrington, Ryan McMurray is our newest member, and he has hit the ground running, helping with the omnibus. Um, David Leiden Lindes is going to be working with us in the genealogy department. Joseph Bryant is also available for omnibus work. And then we've got all of these lovely new contacts to follow up with who we'll get to know at a local basis. And then, of course, Vance is our board president and has been very supportive of all of this process. And Nichelle has truly been the linchpin holding all of these projects together. So my gratitude just goes out to all of you. I mean, as you can imagine, like this was my family's, this is my legacy. And to see a whole new generation of people be as excited about it as all of the members that I knew growing up. And, here's Bruce coming up on 52 years of volunteering. To see it keep motivating and people loving it still is so gratifying. So thank you all very much. And I'll follow up with an email with links to the various things that we've talked about. I'll put the slideshow up on our website as well if you need to refer to it. I might need a day or a day and a half to get all of that together. And then we'll start posting regularly on our socials about the headquarters as we're getting the keys and getting things set up. We want to make sure everybody kind of gets to see as everything's constructed and as the boxes get opened. So, so thank you very much. All right. Well, um, yes, and Bruce just shared his email so that anybody can reach out who wants to talk books. And Louise will get one of us the list and we'll pass it on to who our new librarian or library team perhaps will be. So, all right. And Michelle says again, congratulations on the new space. And thank you, Michelle. I mean, it really does come down to all your brilliant work helping us to find it. So I'm sorry I don't have pictures of the interior to share with you yet, but the ones that I have from the tour, you know, there were like cords hanging out of the ceiling and people milling around. So it wasn't quite, you know, quite the way I wanted to share it with you. But after Monday, we'll have a lot more to share. All right. Well, thanks so much. Then I will hit end on this meeting and I'll be in touch. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
So long, all.